Brenda and I are checking in today from Tahquitz Fire Lookout in the San Jacinto Mountains. We're way up here in the backcountry of the San Jacinto National Forest, way out here in Riverside County, up in the San Jacinto Mountains, just east of the city of Hemet. Decided to go on a nice long adventure today. We hiked from a place called Humber Park, which is where you park, and we hiked the Devil's Slide Trail from Humber Park up to Saddle Junction. That's a 1,700-foot climb, 2.5 miles. And then from Saddle Junction, we hiked all the way up here to Tahquitz Fire Lookout, which is another 1.4 miles and about another 880 feet elevation gain. So we started at 6,280 feet and we're at 8,848 feet. We hiked about 3.9 miles to get here, so that means we have to go 3.9 miles back. But the reason we're up here today, this is actually the second video. This is going to be part 2 from the previous video that we made on our previous hike, getting to this point. But I'm going to be having hip replacement surgery on May 18th, and I just wanted to do one last hike on my old hip as a way to kind of say, thank you, old hip, for serving me well, but I'm going to be happy to see you, and I'm going to be happy to see the new hip. So it's kind of like a little, I guess, my way of kind of celebrating my old hip and ushering in the new era with my new hip. So I wanted to get in one last big hike. And we are up here. There's an old abandoned fire tower, and I'll give you a better view of it from down below. But I'm standing up on top of the fire tower, and as you can see, there's a storm coming in from the west, and I'm hoping we don't get rained on, but we may very well run into some rain. But it's been nice weather so far. It's nice and chilly up here. It's probably about 45 degrees right now, and you're looking due west, standing right on top of the Tahquitz Fire Lookout Tower. Again, it's 8,848 feet, and you're looking in the direction of the Pacific Ocean. The little town of Idlewild is down there. You can see the buildings. That's the little beautiful town of Idlewild, California, tucked into the forest down there. And as you can see, we're pretty far back in the mountains. And I'll pan over in this direction, and that's looking out towards Garner Valley, California. Garner Valley, and I'll zoom in, and you can see Lake Hemet. Lake Hemet is tucked back in the valley there. Good old Lake Hemet. I've been going there since I was a kid. I know the area well. We used to camp and fish there all the time. Good old Lake Hemet, nestled in Garner Valley. And the mountain range over here that you can partially see, this is called the Desert Divide country. These mountain ranges here, these are part of the San Jacinto Mountains, and what this does is it separates the Garner Valley area to the west. It separates it from the Coachella Valley and the Palm Desert region, Palm Springs region, to the east. So out in that direction, you can see, you're looking at the desert. Palm Desert, Palm Springs, Indio, the Salton Sea is out in that direction. So it's a really beautiful place, beautiful hike, and I'm glad that my hip held out, because I wasn't sure my hip was gonna hold out long enough for me to make this hike, but it did well. I'm in a little bit of pain. My hip is stiff, but hey, it's going to be replaced on May 18th, so who gives a shit? I'll wear it down to when it's nothing but dust. I don't care, as long as it gets replaced. So as you can see, Brenda's out there exploring. But again, if you've never been to this area, this is a beautiful, beautiful hike. You drive through Idlewild, you go to Humber Park, and you park, and you take the Devil's Slide Trail, 2.5 miles to Saddle Junction. And Saddle Junction is a branching point where several trails come together. The Pacific Coast Trail goes through Saddle Junction, and then you can hike all the way to Mount San Jacinto, which is out in this direction. You can't see it because it's obscured by the clouds, but Mount San Jacinto is 10,834 feet. Nothing like a little refreshment at the top of the mountain. Gotta have my liquid. Brenda's had her water. She's nice and hydrated. She had her lunch. I've had my snacks. And yeah, this is just it's so beautiful up here. I've been up here numerous times before my hip became so bad. And I neglected all of my hiking adventures because of my hip. But it's so great to be back up here. And I'm really impressed that my hip held up. So now I'm happy. I got one last beautiful hike in. I mean, oh, it's so beautiful with the storm moving in. It's not a big storm, so we probably won't get much rain if it does rain, but it may rain a little bit. But out there in the desert, out towards Desert Hot Springs, Coachella Valley, Palm Springs, it's such a big contrast between the desert facing slopes and then you have the forested slopes on the opposite side. So very interesting topography. Just to give you a little bit of extra info, the YouTuber, the famous or infamous, however you look at it, YouTuber, Logan Paul. Logan Paul purchased a large ranch out here, down below there in the Garner Valley, tucked back in the canyon there. Logan Paul purchased a large ranch back in, I believe it was 2020 or 2021 for about $1,001,001. And believe it or not, that ranch used to belong to Timothy Leary, the LSD guy, the LSD guru, Timothy Leary, and his Orange Sunshine LSD tablets, and the Brotherhood of Eternal Love. They used to have their headquarters down there on that ranch down there in Garner Valley. So just to give you a little tidbit there, for those of you that are in the free love, hippie scene, LSD, all that stuff, Timothy Leary and his band of the Brotherhood of Eternal Love had their little compound down there in Garner Valley in the San Jacinto Mountains. And there you have it. That's the old Tahquitz Peak Fire Lookout Tower. It's no longer in operation, but it was one of the longest running fire lookout towers in the U.S. for quite some time. I mean, it's been there since, I assume it was been there probably since the 1930s, like during the Works Progress administration, or back during the Roosevelt administration. I believe that's when it was constructed. Don't quote me on that. But it was up and operating for several decades. And as you can see, it's tucked right on top of this mountain. We're right on top of Tahquitz Peak, and San Jacinto Mountain is basically in that direction. You can't see the top of San Jacinto from here, but it's back there. It's about 2,000 feet higher than we are here, and that's the second highest point in Southern California. So beautiful spot, beautiful, interesting. And for those of you that are into hiking, if you've never been up here, I suggest you give it a shot. It's a beautiful hike. Again, it's 3.9 miles from here back down to the starting point. So it's going to give us about 7.8 miles round trip. What do you think, girl? Brenda's a trooper, man. She handled this hike beautifully. She was pulling me along. I thought she might get tired because she's not used to the elevation. Well, neither am I, but she handled it pretty well. And it gets windy as hell up here. As you can hear the wind now. You know, it's probably not very windy down in Idlewild, but once you get way up here on the ridge, you get some pretty heavy winds coming in. And as you can see, the storm is headed right for us. So we may end up getting wet before we get back to the car. But anyway, I mean, I think this is pretty much going to be the end of this video. I wanted to make it relatively short and sweet. So here you go. Again, Tahquitz Peak Lookout Tower in the San Jacinto Mountains in Riverside County. Brenda and I up here doing our hike. We made it. Okay, this is really going to be the end of this video. I just wanted to do a quick little addition here to show you that there is some frozen precipitation up here in a few spots. Even though we haven't had much rain or snow overall in Southern California, there are a few pockets of snow up here, which is kind of nice. But damn, it's cold. That storm is really moving in now, so it is like freezing up here. The temperatures dropped probably about 10 degrees over the last 30 minutes. And this is just to give you an idea of what the trail looks like. This is right at the bottom of where the lookout tower is. And we are going to be heading back to Saddle Junction. And then from Saddle Junction, we're going to go back down to Humber Park to where the car is. And we're going to call it a day. So thank you again for those of you that are watching this video. We will check in again at some point. We will do some more hiking videos after I get my new hip. So take care and God bless.